What's up, YouTube? How's everyone doing this um, lovely night? Your boy Reg in the building. So originally, I wanted to do a review on Dr. Dre's Crying 2001, but that recently came in my mail, so I decided to do a surprise review. It's Ice Cube's America's Most Wanted, um, and to an extent, The Kill at Will, because this is the 2003 reissue remastered, and they got like the bonus. You got the fucking bonus EP, Kill at Will, was all in one single disc and shit. So this was released in 1990 on prior Lynch, which is on the Priority Records. I've done a review on this album years ago, but I didn't like that review, to keep it a buck with y'all. So this time I'm going to do like a fresh review. And with what's going on today, I feel it's like a perfect review to do. Singles and albums known for are America's Most Wanted, Who's the Mac, and Endangered Species. This is from the main album right here, so that y'all know. Producers include the Bomb Squad and the Lynch Mob. You know, you also have Sir Jinx doing some shit too. Guest appearances, you have Chuck D, Flavor Flav, and Yo-Yo. So yeah, man, y'all should definitely know the story with this album. This was the album he did right after he left NWA over some contract money issues and shit like that. So what happened was the fact that he hooked up with Chuck D, and he went to New York to do the fucking album, because originally he wanted to have Dr. Dre produce his album and stuff like that. But according to Ice Cube, Jerry Heller pretty much vetoed that, both Jerry and Easy and stuff like that. So he felt some type of way about it. And so yeah, so he was chilling with Chuck D, Bomb Squad, Hank Shockley, and so on and so on. And what's very groundbreaking about this album was fucking West Coast rap with East Coast production and shit, because you guys should know, like, the Bomb Squad, they pretty much was like Public Enemy's in-house producers, and they really shaped the sound of East Coast hip hop, if you want to keep it a buck, because they definitely was familiar with like the multi-layer samples. Like, these cats would have like 15 to 20 samples in like one fucking track and shit. So definitely thought that was pretty unique. And so, what ended up happening, he definitely wrote a lot of shit. And then that's how this album came about. Definitely like put his own Lynch Mob on deck too, because around this time too, he was putting the Lynch Mob on too. He put on Yo-Yo on too on this album. So yeah, man, very dope album cover right here. Definitely love the album cover. Just has Ice Cube and the Lynch Mob just chilling and shit like that. So I'll definitely fuck with it. And also, like, if you definitely want to like have it as a poster, it should be like a fucking America's Most Wanted poster. Which, low-key, me personally, I'm more of like a CD person. So if they would have had like an extra, like a poster as like an extra one, then yeah, most definitely I would have hung this on my wall and shit. But yeah. Alright, so that being said, this album, the original album, has about 16 tracks. So let's get this shit started. Alright, track number one we got is Better Off Dead, which this track right here was definitely a very, very, very dope track. Nice intro track to begin with. And it definitely features some guy about to get electrocuted in an electric chair and stuff like that. And so, yeah, man. It's basically just, he's in death row, and Hank Sharply definitely put the skits together on this one right here. So I definitely feel like this was a very, 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 very dope track. which leads us into the next track, the nigga you love to hate. Um, Classic track. This is like one of my all-time favorite Ice Cube tracks, in my opinion. Originally, this was supposed to have been he wrote this track for NWA and stuff like that, but he ended up keeping it for himself. And the reason why he calls it the nigga you love to hate because he felt like America basically hated NWA and himself included and shit like that. So yeah, man, this song was definitely a lot of quotables were in this track. Like I love the line where he says, the police, the media, and suckers that went pop, and motherfuckers that say they too black, put them overseas and be begging to come back and say we promote gangs and drugs. You want a super nigga like me up under the rug, kicking shit called street knowledge while more niggas independent in college. Because of that line, I might be a cellmate. That's from the nigga you love to hate. Fucking fire and shit. Love that beat. Definitely like nice funky driven ass shit right there. So one of my favorite tracks off this album. Then you have track number 3, which is the title track, America's Most Wanted. Yeah, this is another strong track, like a pure embodiment on what this album is talking about and shit. Originally the beat was actually for Public Enemy affiliate Son of Berserk, who he dropped this one album in I want to say '91. And you guys should definitely, if you my Public Enemy, y'all should definitely have heard the name Son of Berserk before and stuff like that. So I definitely did get my hands on that album, but that album's kind of hard to come by. And so yeah, definitely Ice Cube has definitely did his thing, and he pretty much just talked about how criminal life always catches up to somebody at the end. So I definitely love this track, fucking fire track. Next track we got is What They Hitting For. So this is pretty much like skits where it's just discussing like a dice game and stuff like that and shit. So I definitely like this song for what it is, you know. Um I wanna say it was Sir Jinx that said that, you know, there was a couple cats in that song that was like he had to block off because it was saying like a lot of shit that could have gotten them incriminated and stuff like that. So yeah, definitely a fire track, which leads into You Can't Fade Me slash JD's Gaffling. Very cool track. This is where his storytelling definitely gets very distinctive. His storytelling was definitely put on display with this one. He's pretty much telling a story about how he was fucking around with his neighborhood girl, and next thing you know, she claims that the baby she's carrying is his baby. And excuse me, Ice Cube being the guy he was not gonna believe that shit right away and stuff like that. And so, you know, just he just waiting for the baby to be born and stuff like that. And pretty much the results said it was negative and stuff like that. And he just felt he was mad, like he wanted to get at this girl, but at the same time, he's at the end of the day, he just said you can't fade me. I'm still me and shit like that, you know. So definitely a very dope track right here. I love this shit. Yeah, man. Like some of the lyrics at the time would not really pass by today in today's standards and shit like that. But yeah, this is pretty much one of my top 5 favorite songs off this album. And then it leads into like Once Upon a Time in the Projects, which this is pretty much one of the more it was one of the more like harder tracks off this album, in my opinion, because he's pretty much telling the story about him chilling with his homegirl at the hood and shit like that, and just the fucking what you have like kids with the runny nose, you have like kids cussing and shit like that, talking about the whole scenery reminded him of good times, and it's crazy too because he recently did an anniversary retrospective on this album, and he said the title was inspired by the Robert De Niro film Once Upon a Time in America and stuff like that. So yeah, that's very. I kind of figured it and shit like that, but still. And y'all should definitely know that This track definitely been covered a lot. Most notably, Redman. He used this and he renamed it Jersey Yo for the Doc's Name 2000 album that came out in '98. So, yeah, man, that's a very dope, underrated album. Track number 7, Turn Off the Radio. So, with this track right here, he's pretty much talking about how a lot of gangster rap kind of gets banned and it doesn't get played in a lot of mainstream black radio stations because they want to focus more on R&B and New Jack Swing. And you guys really gotta remember, like during like the late '80s, early '90s, hip hop and R&B still was not really coinciding with one another. Like, yeah, you had the New Jack Swing, which New Jack Swing to me, I don't. It was like a flirtation and shit like that, but at the same time, how can I think? How can I think? It was a stepping stone. I'm just gonna say that, but it was. You have to wait until when MJB, Mary J. Blige came out with the fucking What's the 411 album, and then you have, of course, Aaliyah with AJ Nothing But a Number and stuff like that. So on. So you guys know what I'm talking about. So he's pretty much getting that radio station that don't play gangster rap and stuff like that. And he said he's not trying to water his music down just for mass appeal. So, and the beat definitely has like a Fear for Black Planet feel to it and shit like that. So I definitely love that shit. Track number 8, Endangered Species, Tales from the Dark Side featuring Chuck D. Man, this was a very heavy track, relevant track, talking about how black men succumb to like police brutality. You know, pretty much according to Cube, he really liked the Kill That Oil version more because it was like a lot more heavier, which I kind of have to agree because the remix was better. But he was like appreciated because he did a finally did a song with Chuck D and whatnot. So definitely love this track right here. I love the line where he says, "My homeboy died over keys of cocaine. It was plain and simple. The 9 millimeter went buck to the temple. Buck, buck, buck was the sound that I put the bitch down and went to the schoolyard bathroom. Looked in the trash can. Yo, it had room." Like very, very dope track. I love that shit right there. Um, Next track is a Gangster's Fairy Tale. Yet another one of the lighthearted tracks off this album where you have this kid talking to Ice Cube like, how come you never really do anything for the kids and shit like that. So what's interesting about the song was the fact that he pretty much took a lot of nursery rhymes and a lot of kids shit and just put like a little gangster twist to it. Like you'll say like Little Bo Peep smoked out, saw her and her friends selling sheepskins. Yo, yo, I got them sheepskins. Yo, my empty sheepskins. Yo, baby, what's up with that? Hickory dickory dock. It was 12 o'clock. Cinderella ain't home. Must be giving up the cot and stuff like that. So, and if you really think about it, like there was this interview where like Regina King was talking about this track right here too, and she pretty much talked about this definitely said that he definitely had a comedic side to him, and she definitely liked the fact that it kind of really had an influence on like Friday too and shit. So yeah, man, it's very very dope track right there, very dope. Um, Next track you had was I'm Only Out for One Thing. This track right here features Flavor Flav. It's kind of interesting too because give me one second, I'm gonna but I'm gonna still talk. But it's kind of interesting too because Flav was pretty much he was pretty much like distant throughout this whole recording of his album, and there was a lot of theories about why he was distant and shit. One of the theories, according to like Sir Jinx, was the fact that him and Professor Griff they weren't really seeing eye to eye on a lot of shit around that time and stuff like that. Which Professor Griff definitely did an interview about that shit. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, man. And pretty much Ice Cube talking about how he finally got Flav was the fact that he was he was with Hank and Eric and on the way to the airport, and they saw Flav and shit like that, and so they just kept him moving and shit like that, try to convince him to get on the track. So yeah, man, definitely interesting. Definitely feel like they all did their thing on this album, on the song right here. So I like it. Track number 11, Get Off My Dick and Tell Your Bitch to Come Here. Um, this track right here is pretty much a snippet on the original album, but the full version is on the Kill That Will EP, and it's pretty much talking about male groupies, like male groupies who pretty much dick riders when it comes to like these rappers and stuff like that. But then you have like those other, what you talking about, like the male fans, who just love his shit, but Ice Cube just wants appreciation from the females and stuff, which, it is what it is, but yeah, this song was okay and shit like that, definitely saw what he was going with this one. Track number 12, The Drive-By. Um, this track right here was another skit and shit like that. And it's kind of interesting too because they're getting ready to do a drive-by, but they ended up playing Young MC's Bust a Move, which that was like a huge song in 89, 90. And for Sir Jinx, he pretty much said that Ice Cube was looking at him all real, like, why are you putting this pop song on a gangster album like this? And he just wanted him to say like how, hip hop is universal and stuff like that, how we all is together. And mind you, Young MC's from the West Coast too, so yeah, but I'm not really a big Young MC fan like that. I just didn't care for that Busta Move track. It got kind of played out, but it is what it is. And it leads into the next track, Rolling with the Lynch Mob, which, very dope track. Love the JB sample that he used. It's pretty much him just shouting out the members of the Lynch Mob, which ended up dropping the Gorillas in Warfare, the Gorillas in the Mist album in 1992, which I definitely need to talk about that album. But I think I did talk about the album, but it wasn't. I might have to do a review on that again because I didn't have the CD that time when I talked about the album. So yeah, man, very cool track. And this song, he kind of got some controversy because he has a line that says, "Some rappers are heaven sent, but self-destruction don't pay the fucking rent." And a lot of people kind of concede that to be like a subtle shot to, KRS One because KRS One, he was like the organizer, founder of the Stop the Violence movement, and KRS One actually got back at Q. I want to say on his song, it was the song "We In There." He says some shit like, "The type of lyricalness I profess, educating niggas at the same time pays my rent." Some shit like that. And so, he definitely got accused of that. And he said on the other line, he said, MCs turn Muslim whenever it's convenient. Because, the 1991 classic, that certificate, he had like a lot of Nation of Islam references, on that one. So, yeah, definitely a very dope joint right there. Track number 4, Who's the Mac? This is arguably my favorite track off this album. Definitely love the bass line on that track right there. And he's pretty much, talking about how people just end up getting played. Like, you have like a pimp, a beggar, and a playboy and shit like that. The video, I love the video. DJ Pooh's funny ass, he played all the characters in the video and stuff like that. And then, in the fourth verse, Ice Cube is just letting the listener know that be careful about who's really macking and who's really pimping and shit like that because you'll end up being played out and played like even when you don't even know about it. So definitely a very dope joint. I love the line when he says, "Consider them an MACK with no delay. They're gonna get all the play. But when it comes to me, save the drama for your mom. As Ice Cube, and you know that I'm a Mac in my own right when it comes to round rap. because all I do is kick facts. Unlike Iceberg Slim, and all of them keep claiming BIMB. No, I'm not going out that way. I'm just a straight up NIGGA liar. Whew. I love the way he was floating on that fucking trap. So yeah, that's fucking that is fucking Who's the Mac, which is again another classic joint right there. Next track we got. The next track is The Man's World featuring Yo-Yo. Oh man, this is another classic joint right here. Just yeah, I think this was Yo-Yo's first appearance on Wax 2. Yo, with this track right here, he's pretty much it's based on the James Brown track. It's a man's world. And so with this track right here, he's pretty much just saying how women are good for this, good for sucking a dick. And then here you have Yo-Yo, holding it down for the fucking ladies and shit like that, which something that's never really been done in hip hop up to that point because, just them bigging up the females and shit like that. And mind you, that was Yo-Yo's first appearance on Wax. And according to Ice Cube, that track was originally supposed to have been for the Make Way for the Motherload album, which ended up being the debut album. But she didn't really have the deal straight with I want to say the label she was at was East West, I want to say. So yeah, man, yeah, and with that track right there, man, that definitely Yo-Yo definitely did her thing with that track right there. So and I need to talk about her albums because I have the first 3 albums, so I need to definitely talk about those one day and stuff like that. And the last track off the main album is The Bomb. Very nice, dope way to end up the track. End up the album. Whereas, he just pretty much had like a funky beat. And he really wanted to do this song so he can prove to people that he can really flow on the mic and shit like that. So I like it. Definitely like this track right here. Then when it came to the Kill Out Will EP, you have the Endangered Species remix with Chuck D, which I always prefer the remix over the original and stuff like that. So yeah, that's a very dope beat. Track number 18, Jacking for Beats. Love this track right here. This track pretty much was like Ice Cube rhyming over a lot of popular hip hop songs at that time. Like you had him rhyming over the Humpty Dance. You had him rhyming over Call Me Be Nice by Be Nice. You had him rhyming over Big Ol' Buck for LL Cool J. Hell, you even had him rhyming over like the funky drummer sample, from James Brown. And so it's kind of crazy too because he sent like a little subtle shot at NWA when he says, "Cause suckers can't fade the cue, and if I jack you and you keep coming, I'll have you marks 100 miles of running," which 100 Miles of Running was the EP that NWA came out with 1990, which very dope EP. Like next to Kill Out Will, that's pretty much my second favorite hip hop EP, and it's ironic because both NW and Ice were beefing, which that beef man came out was they made some like the best music. That whole NWA beef man, that's another story for a different day. So yeah, very dope track. Jacking for Beats. Then you have another remix, Get Off My Dick and Tell You Bitch Come Here remix, which it definitely needs like the full song and shit like that. So yeah, it is what it is. Track number 20, The Product. Um, Again, another dope song where it took on a serious note about basically how a young black man is raised like in crime and prison and shit like that, and just so the product. I think the product is supposed to represent the black men who are used as an example in the prison system and shit. Which, again, another song that's very relevant today. The whole police brutality. The whole George Floyd, and look what's happening today with the bullshit with the whole Breonna Taylor shit. But man, that shit just I'm not surprised, but at the same time, when will it really end? It's just really bullshit. Oh. Then track number 21, Dead Homies. This is my favorite track from the EP. He's pretty much, giving a shout out to like all his homies that died. This track was it was dedicated to his homeboy T-Bone, not the T-Bone from the Lynch mob. It was another homeboy that stayed in a different hood, and he got killed and stuff like that. So he wrote Dead Homies based off that. So I like this track. I felt like this track was very solid. I love the sample that they used. It reminds me. I kind of feel like Tupac uses as an inspiration when he did quite a little liquor for the Thug Life album and stuff. So very dope track. And then you had JD's Gaffin Part Two, where you just had JD pretty much excuse me, JD pretty much talking shit, nothing to it. And then the last track off this album is I Gotta Say What's Up, where he's like giving shout outs to like people that's been down with him. Like you have shout outs to Digital Underground, King T, um, of course shout out to Lynch Mob, Zulu Nation, and stuff like that. LL Cool J, who he referred to as Uncle L. Um, yeah, man, a lot of those shout outs and stuff like that. Yeah, man, hell, even a shout out to King Son too, whom ended up, y'all should definitely, know the history between them and stuff like that because of the fact that King Son pretty much saved. He pretty much jumped in the infamous fight between the Lynch mob and Above the Law. Y'all should definitely know about that fight that happened between them in 1990. And so they were cool with each other, but then King Son said that Ice Cube's wicked was he stole wicked from King Son. So y'all should know the history between those guys and stuff. So that's that. And yeah, that's the whole fucking album and EP. So when it comes to America's Most Wanted, I feel like it's definitely more relevant today than ever. I feel like this album was a very groundbreaking. It's a hip hop classic. I love the fact that he definitely took a huge risk with the Bomb Squad as producers, and with the whole East Coast and the West Coast and stuff like this was like years with the whole East Coast West Coast beef and shit. So again, this album has been groundbreaking. Just definitely showed Ice Cube as a major force in hip hop. Like his first three albums, and I would even say the Bow Down joint with What's That Connection. Very dope run, man. Like all classics. After Bow Down, he kind of got hit or miss for me. But I did like the Raw Footage album that came out in '08. I did like that album. So yeah, man, this was a very dope album. Love this album. As for Kill at Will, another very solid EP. Some of Cube's best songs are on this EP and shit like that. Um, I could have done without possibly Get Off My Dick and Tell Your Bitch to Come Here. That could have been on the fucking main album, but it is what it is. So yeah, man, this album right here is definitely a classic album and it should be studied upon many people. I love this album. I was really planning on viewing this album months ago because of the whole 30th anniversary, which I wouldn't say was around May, but I was going through a lot of stuff, just trying to get my stuff together because I was preparing to move too. So yeah, man. Other than that, very dope album. Bomb Squad was definitely at their peak. Ice Cube definitely did his thing on this album. Yeah, must have in your collection. And that's all the time I have. Stay tuned for more, and I'll see y'all later. Peace.